Peter from A&P-Reacts. I'm here today with the great Erik of Månegarm to talk about the latest record, which I'm not going to try to pronounce because I know I'm going to butcher it. It comes out April 15th on Napalm Records. What's the right way of pronouncing the name of the record?
All right, here we go. The album is called Ynglingaättens öde.
All right, so I would be nowhere close to that. So I'm glad you helped me out. I love listening to your music. I hate doing an album review because it forces me to pronounce these things. And I know everybody at home is just laughing because it's like, oh my God, that's so horrible. So you always put me in a really difficult spot. Love listening to the music, hate pronouncing the names. So it is.
Not alone, man. I have done a couple of interviews and a lot of people has the same problem. So you're not alone.
I'm not alone. So this album has the bass line of a Norse poem. What influenced you to go with that poem? What's in that poem that you find that needs to be talked about, that needs to be converted into an album?
The idea was it's Jakob's idea. Our drummer, he's the one who writes the lyrics. And when he did his university studies, he came in contact with this subject. I guess he knew about it before, but he had a teacher, a professor called Olof Sundqvist, who had done a what you call dissertation on this field. Anyway, Jakob was very inspired and thought that this is a concept for a future Månegarm album. But at that time, we were just about to record or release, I don't remember, the previous album, Fornaldarsagor, another tricky title. Anyway, but he kept the idea for later on. And when I showed him some new riffs, some new songs for this album, Jakob thought that this theme would fit perfect. And why we choose to write about that? I mean, there are so many sagas, poems, myths, stories to tell about, and this is one of many things that we could pick. But
how is the process for you guys? Because you have that baseline, you have that story, it's been written, it's been talked about, but then how do you take that and apply it to the music that you guys create? How is that whole process?
I compose the songs, and I often just sit down with my guitar and play around with a couple of riffs, then turn that into a song. And when I'm ready with a whole song, I send Jakob some rough demos, often recorded on my phone, and send them to him. And where the lyrics should be, I just sing, and then it's Jakob's job to turn my singing into lyrics and words. And he's quite phenomenal at that. I really think he does a great job into finding the right words. And so that's the usual composing process for us.
The album starts off with a 10-minute epic journey, Friar's Blood, and then it finishes off with an incredible acoustic duet that is just like something like what an experience. What do you feel these two songs are very unique, both of them in their own way? You have one that kicks off the record, you have one that finishes off the album. How important are these two songs, where they are, for the overall playability of the album?
I think at first maybe they weren't that important, but as we got the album together, I think it certainly has their place on the album, and that makes them more important, I think. I mean, to start off an album with a 10-minute song, maybe that's not the normal or even good idea, I don't know. But I think Frey's Blood is a I really like the song. It's a long song, but it contains many of what I think are the Månegarm elements with fast parts, blast beats. You have these kind of grand epic choruses with a lot of vocal arrangements and the clean acoustic part in the middle. So I think that song shows a lot of Månegarm, which I really like. That part, I don't know if it's a fun story, but when I worked with that song, it wasn't that long at first. The part in the middle was, from the beginning, I tried to write some acoustic song, but I just came up with that part and nothing more. So, but then I tried it to put it in the middle of Frey's Blood. So, and that created great dynamics, I think. So, and it made the song longer.
But it's a song that has great playability, so it doesn't feel as long as it is. And I thought that you guys also captured the essence of the record. Everything that your sound is all about, the folk, the pagan, the black metal, everything comes in that song. That song has pieces of everything in it. It doesn't have just one sound from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Our producer, or Pelle, he's the one that owns the studio where we mix and master the album and record drums and rhythm guitars. When he heard the song, he was like, guys, this is a fucking statement, you know? And I don't know, it wasn't meant to be some kind of statement, but I get his point. And just as you say, it contains a lot of Månegarm stuff.
Yeah, it's really a representation of the band. It really is. It's like your resume in one song.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it feels that way. Was there challenging moments during the making of this record, maybe driven by the fact that you tied into that concept, you tied into that idea, or maybe outside of that? Was this a challenging album when you look at previous records and you look at this one?
No, I wouldn't say that. I came up with I felt kind of creative, and of course I didn't write all the songs in like 1 or 2 months. I mean, I kept on writing and composing and changing stuff for I guess a year, 1.5 maybe. But I didn't run into any bigger problems. It was a kind of smooth process. So yeah.
Outside of the concept that ties the album together, do you feel like sonically, is there a red line that connects this whole album from start to finish?
I don't know if I can. I think so, but I don't know how to explain it. I think it's kind of hard to describe or describe my own music, our own music, but I think I think if you look at the artwork and the songs and the sketches in the, maybe you haven't seen it yet, but each and every song has its own sketch, and the artist Chris Verwimp, who has painted everything, he has done a great job with the cover art and the sketches, and that binds it all together in a really nice way. It unites the music with the visuals and the lyrics and everything. So I think we have made a good job with that part. But besides from that, I find it hard to answer your question.
Because the reason I'm asking is I found that the record did have a red line, but the line is not always continuous. You know what I mean? Like you pick up a little bit of the path here, then you lose it a little bit, then you pick it up again, then you lose it a little bit, then you pick it up again. But you never really feel like you're completely disconnected from it. You just feel like you can't really see it, but then eventually you find it. So the album has this interesting way of keeping you looking for something all the time, which makes the listener always stay connected with the overall experience of listening to a record. So I really enjoyed how you put it together in a very subtle way.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Was there a track on this record that, due to its nature, due to its sound, maybe was a little bit difficult for you to nail it and almost didn't make the album?
No, not really. But you asked a minute ago about the last song, and maybe it wasn't tricky in some bigger way, but that last song is I like it too. It's a nice folk ballad
Ballad,
like,
yeah.
so I really like it, and we got some fantastic help from my old friend Eleanor, who has been singing on the I think 2-3 last albums. Anyway, we often when I work with Eleanor, I go to her place and we try out just to find the right key for her voice. But for this song, we have already recorded, because I thought I found a good key to play on the guitar. And when I sent her the song, she was like, "Oh well, this is quite low for my voice. Can we do it in another key?" And I was like, "No, we can't. It's recorded." So that was a mistake from my part. But I think it really turned out in a great way, maybe the best way, because now she had to sing in a maybe not the best key for her in the beginning, but that makes her voice really warm and beautiful and calm and soft. So, and I like it really much. And then I kick in with some of my vocals. I don't sing as good as Eleanor, but it turned out to be a good mix.
This record, I thought it was phenomenal. So if you have to record a song in the wrong key for her in the future, I think you can learn from this lesson that it's totally okay to do so, because she still delivered. So it was still amazing. You guys we talked a little bit about it. You guys have such a diverse sound. You're not just a folk metal band. You're not just a pagan metal band, not a Viking metal band. You have just so many different influences. Having that much to work with, how much of an advantage is that, or sometimes does it become a disadvantage to have so much to work with?
I don't see it as a disadvantage. For me, it just makes it easier. I mean, people, and I'm all good with this label thing. It makes hard easier for people to know what they're looking for and all that, but for us it has never been important to be called Viking metal or folk metal or pagan metal. We say that we play metal and we love what we do, but you're right. I think we have a diverse sound. You can hear a lot of cool things going on, but for me I think it makes it easier to write new songs. I don't have any boundaries. I just play and compose.
And when it comes to you, I have a question that I don't think you're the right person to ask. I think I should be asking Jakob or somebody else, but I'm going to ask you, do you see yourself more of a singer or more of a storyteller?
More of a singer, but the more I get into the stories, and because I love the way our former bassist Pierre, I love the way he wrote the lyrics, but Jakob do his thing in a more historic, accurate way, and the more I dig into his stories, the more I learn. So in one way I have probably become more of a storyteller, but I definitely see myself as a singer. Or actually, I mean, I started playing drums in Månegarm when we started in 1995. I played the drums, so sometimes I see myself as the former drummer.
As a former drummer, that's
when I don't have the responsibility, I'm just a fourth.
Well, you can still kick in during sound check. If you feel like you need to scratch that itch of drumming, just during sound check. It's easy. It's easy. I mean, like it's not very demanding during sound check. When you look at the lyrics, you said that as you dive deeper into it, you become a little bit more of a storyteller. I think you're a phenomenal storyteller. That's why I asked you that question. And when you look at the lyrics, does the energy of the song define a little bit of the tone and the warmth that comes from your voice when you're singing these lyrics?
Take that once again. I didn't follow.
I was saying when you dive deeper into these songs and you understand where they're coming from a lyrical perspective, does that define the warmth that comes from your voice? Some stories maybe you connect a little bit more than others. Is it something that really has a positive impact on that aspect?
It's short, yeah, really, because yeah, you're totally right, and I can feel that when I sing, and I mean, some lyrics hits you harder, and when I sing favorite songs and my favorite lines, I really can feel that passion. I don't know, but that strength, you know. So yeah, definitely has a huge, or at least a big impact.
I asked you before about the red line. I'm going to ask you that question now in a different way. When you look at this album and you look at every single record that you guys have released up to this point, is there something specifically about this record that sets it apart, that it's unique to it, that you can see the difference from the past into the present?
I think, I mean, as I said earlier, I think I find it quite hard sometimes to describe our music and the differences and what's like. Yeah, but I think it follows the same path, but I think we have made a better job with combining everything, like as I said, with the sketches to cover out the lyrics and the so I think we have done that better. For some reason, I think my feelings for this album is one word, more honest, and I don't know why I picked the word honest, but we have worked really hard, and I mean, we had a pandemic going on, and that sucked in so many ways, but it also meant that I had a lot of time to get into the songs, and I finally finished my own little studio in my house, and that was awesome, because I could, whenever I felt for, I could just go down to the basement and into the studio and sing a song or a couple of lines, or record some bass parts, you know. And so we have really put our hearts and soul into this album, and that's why it feels so honest. I don't know if that was a good answer to your question, but it's a great feeling for the album.
One last question for you. You guys have achieved so much. You've done so much creatively as far as the sound that you've crafted or that you carved for yourselves. Is there still doors that you want to open creatively that you haven't opened yet? Is there something in your mind that you still want to push to achieve or to try on a future album that you haven't tried yet?
I can't come up with something new that we haven't tried. I mean, we love what we do. We have found our style. Of course, we want to develop things, but it must sound Månegarm. I don't want it to sound any other way. If you put on the record, you should hear, oh, all right, this is a Månegarm album. So that's really important to me. I mean, my God is Lemmy, and I mean, I just love it because an uncompromising rock and roll he brought to this world. And I mean, Motörhead is Motörhead, and I would never compare ourselves to Motörhead, but that thing, I like it. People should hear that they are listening to Månegarm. But we have done an acoustic album before, but I mean, time flies, and I think it was back in 2005, 6, or something like that. And that's one thing I would like to do in the future. So it's nothing new, but not that common. Even if we have 1 or 2 acoustic songs on each and every album, but I want to record a new acoustic album. That would be awesome, because the acoustic songs have always been a big part of our sound as well. We have always had these songs, so that's a plan.
And I think your sound and the band really fits that style, because you have this sitting around the campfire sort of vibe when you listen to one of the acoustic songs, that even though I don't understand what you guys are singing about, I'm so enthralled by it. I'm like, what's happening? It just has this storytelling, this warm feeling to it, that somebody's telling you a tale from the past. You know what I mean? Like, so I think definitely is something that really plays well to your strengths as a band.
Oh, so nice to hear, because that's the thing with music. It creates this it hopefully creates this great and cool feelings for the listeners, and if we can do that, it's great.
Yeah, you definitely do that every single time, man. I love you guys. I love the record. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. The album comes out April 15th. Once again, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. I don't want to embarrass myself. So thank you for taking the time. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. It's always a pleasure to listen to your music. Congratulations on the record, and best of luck with the release on April 15th on Napalm Records.
Thanks, man. We're looking forward to your awesome reaction videos. Blink, blink.
Oh, there's one coming. So by the time folks are watching this interview, the video is already out. So the video is already out. So that is coming. That is coming. All right, take care, man.
Yeah, have a nice weekend.